Hi there, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Trina O'Gorman. If you are returning, thank you for joining me again. So on this channel, we enjoy talking about personal writing, writing for healing, writing for processing our feelings, writing to grow, writing for empowerment, writing for legacy, personal writing. And occasionally we like to talk about the things we write with our analog tools. And today's video is going to be me sharing some of the analog tools that I use and some of them that I have used with you. I've noticed that some people are still commenting on my previous things I carry video. And some of those things I no longer carry, so I figured I would do an updated video for you. I would like to think that I have a pretty thoughtful, a well-curated collection of things that I carry. I try not to purchase things impulsively, and I try to use the things that I purchase. Occasionally, though, I do have to make a change because something is not serving me any longer, or because something in my life has changed and I need an analog tool that supports that change. And this is what happened recently. So these are some of the things that I was carrying previously when I shared the last video with you. I shared this with you. It is a packing pouch that is made by Hightide, and I actually still use this. It was a gift from my sons, and I think I got it last Mother's Day or the Mother's Day before, and it's always in my handbag. It's made of plastic, and as you can see, it's starting to split here and here on the sides. I noticed that about a week ago. It still works. It hasn't, split all the way down. I imagine it's going to get worse and I'll probably need to replace it. But I'll carry it for as long as I can. I have a birthday coming up and maybe they can replace it for my birthday with something a bit more durable. In my last video, I was carrying my Postalco toolbox. It is a pencil case for me, and I continue to carry it. I carry it in my handbag, and I use it every day. It holds my pens, my highlighters, paper clips, my scissors, things like that. And so I always have this with me. This is my Postalco, same company, snap pad. It is a pad of paper. It's called a snap pad because this unsnaps and you can add and remove paper from it. I use this pad, as you can see, it is well used. I use this pad every single day. I use it for brainstorming. I use it for jotting notes that I am probably not going to need to keep. And if I do need to keep them, or I do decide to keep them, I don't need to keep them in any like special order or anything like that. Yeah, I use this all the time. This would be, I think, the equivalent of using a legal pad or a scratch pad, as they used to call them, or a memo pad to jot things down. That's all it is. And, I spoiled myself and got this brand, but this is not necessary for the things that I do in it. Like I said, I could do the same things in a legal pad. This is well used. As you can see, the edges are pretty bashed up. I've probably had this for about a year or so, maybe longer. I'm not really sure. I'd have to look up the dates, but I use it every day. I don't always take it out of the house every day. If I'm working, it's in my tote bag. If I'm going to a coffee shop or a meeting, it's in my tote bag. If I am at home, it's on my desk. I do not carry this in my handbag because it's big and I just don't need it for, you know, going to the supermarket or going out to the movies or someplace or to dinner. Yeah, but I find it extremely useful and I use it every single day. Next up is my Smythson A5 writing folder. I shared this with you in a previous video. It was something that I'd wanted when I was younger, when my older son, who's 21 years old now, was a baby. I discovered Smythson. I had a friend who was British, and we used to love talking about notebooks and pens and all that good stuff when we would get together and have mommy and baby visits. And I discovered Smythson when we were hanging out and got their catalog, and I was just in awe. Their prices were really high, and I just had a baby, and there was no buying a $400 or $500 writing folder, so that wasn't going to happen. And I would just continue to get their catalogs and look at their things later when that was a thing online. And then 2 years ago, I discovered the Real Real and found that they had one. They had a couple actually, but they had this one in orange, which is my favorite color. It's like a yellow orange, this one. And it's from their like 2010, 2011 collection, but it was in great condition. It was used, pre-owned, so not full price at all. And I decided to make the purchase. At the time, I'd been using A5 for about 3 years. Prior to that, I'd been using smaller notebooks. I was using a Traveler's regular size notebook. Prior to that, I was using moleskin notebooks. And prior to that, I was a hardcore Filofax user. But A5 was the size I was currently in at the time, and so this fit into my lifestyle perfectly. I was, at the time I purchased this, using just one notebook for everything. I keep a digital calendar, so I wasn't doing any planning in a notebook or anything, any kind of analog tool. And I would journal and jot down my notes all in the same notebook. I was, at the time, I had discovered the snap pad, so I was no longer just jotting down disposable notes in this. But everything else would go in here. Meeting notes, because I might need to refer to those. They're like dated. And yeah, other things. Journaling, I would definitely be doing in here. And then I did start working on some projects that needed planning, that needed me to pay attention to dates. And I was also letting a lot of things fall through the cracks. I wasn't paying attention to time, and I wasn't managing my time well. And so I decided that I needed to keep a calendar, a paper calendar, in addition to my digital calendar, because it would allow me to lay out my week, lay out my month, plan my projects, and look at when I could fit these different tasks into my schedule. In order to do that, I added on a Muji week to a page calendar, and I think this cost $1.90. I was in New York when I picked it up, so I didn't pay for shipping and handling or any of that. I just picked it up from the Muji store. It was $1.90. This was $3.95, so €3.95. I got this in Europe, and this system worked okay. It is heavy though, and that is something that I started to notice, and it was bothering me. This is big, and it is really bigger than the handbag that I carry, in that it kind of lays in there kind of sideways, and it's hard to put my other stuff in there, but I was making it work. But when I added in the calendar, it got even heavier, not substantially heavier because this isn't very heavy, but all of the stuff just started to weigh a lot. Add to that the fact that it really wasn't doing what I needed it to do. I was still letting things fall through the cracks. And so I made a decision. It was a long time coming, and it took me months to finally decide that it was probably going to be a good decision and a good change for me to make. So I'll share that with you next. These are some of my new things that I am now carrying, and some of my old things that I wasn't carrying that I now am carrying again. All right, so I made the decision to return back to the 6-ring agenda organizer planner, whatever you call it. Back in the day when I used a Filofax, I referred to it as an organizer, and I've returned back to using an organizer. I think everybody calls them planners these days. I took my time deciding which brand I wanted to go with, which style I wanted to go with, which color I wanted to go with, because I do not want a collection of planners. I wanted one planner that was going to do the job, and it was going to be big enough, and the rings were going to hold what I needed it to hold. It was going to be a color that wasn't going to get old and me not like anymore, and it was going to be durable. And I made the decision that I would spend a little extra money to get something that I really wanted. I also made the decision that I was going to at least try to be more environmentally conscious when I do things. I try to keep the things that I buy, use them, not discard them, sell them or give them away to someone who's actually going to use them if I'm not going to use them any longer, that kind of thing. I'm not perfect. I am a work in progress. But I went on to the Real, again, they are my go-to, and found one that was used at a fraction of the price that one would pay for a new one. And so I chose a Louis Vuitton Epi leather. It is black agenda. They call it the MM size. It's the medium agenda. This particular agenda, based on the serial number that is on the inside, is from the October 2004 collection. So it is 20 years old. It is in very good or pristine or near new condition. When I received it, it didn't have any visible wear on it, and it came with a few things that kind of indicate to me that it might have been used a little bit, maybe only for a minute. I don't even know. But I also don't care because it's in great condition and it does what I need it to do. I will show you how I set it up in another video, but I will tell you that I've been using it now for about a month, and it is doing exactly what I needed to do. As I said, I've used this kind of system in the past for about 10 years. I also worked for Franklin Covey, and we sold planners as well. And So I knew what I needed, and I knew what I needed to do. So I also started carrying my A5 notebook in something that's lighter weight. This is so much lighter, and it just, I don't know. I think I'm into traveling light these days, lightly these days. I keep 2 notebooks in here currently. Will I continue to do that? That remains to be seen. However, this notebook that's tucked in this pocket, kind of hidden away, is the notebook in which I do a journaling or expressive writing when I need to work something out emotionally. And then I have a separate notebook that I use when I am doing something that's either business related or more creative. That's going to go there. And then lastly is this Midori natural leather envelope, A5 envelope. It's made by Midori, as I said, and I have had it for a long time. I have not used it for as long as I've had it, but it's one of those things that I've had for a long time and that I've kept. And I go back to it when I have a use for it. And I have a use for it right now, and it's coming in really, really handy. It fits in my handbag, and I carry it along with this. So what it carries are all of the larger papers, A5 things, like if I have a referral that I need to take with me to the doctor or something like that, I can stick it right in this A5 folder. I know where it is. I'm not losing my stuff because I'm using a personal size organizer or agenda, and it does not hold the same size papers that my A5 writing folder carried. But this is like so much lighter. This, like my snap pad, do not come with me in my handbag. I do not carry these in my handbag. That would be ridiculous and way too heavy. And I don't use them all the time. So I only take these with me when I am going to be sitting down and doing the kind of work that I would need them for. And if I'm doing that, I'm taking a tote bag with me. And so I put these in the tote bag when I'm going out, or I'm using these at my desk or at a table in my house. So those are not leaving the house. Or they're not leaving the house unless I need to use them, and they're not leaving the house in my handbag. I do carry this stuff in my handbag. This is my makeup, and this is pretty much everything that's in my handbag, along with like my phone and my AirPods and stuff like that. These are the things that I carry every day. My everyday carries, as people will say. Anyway, all right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comments. I check those, and I will try my best to answer any questions that you have. And thank you for watching. Bye.